It is Matt Mosley, the Matt Mosley Show, and we're off and running on this beautiful. Is it beautiful? Yeah, it is. It is. At least in the Metroplex, Central Texas. I would imagine has similar weather today. This is kind of that one little glimpse we get of just kind of beautiful weather. It got a little hot last month, and then we've gotten some. We've got some nicer temps here recently. Welcome to the Mosley Show, and welcome in Kevin Hoosier Hall, who man, he's been at it. We've been reacting to stuff, and Kevin, hello there, sir.
Hello.
You're coming off the high of a Final Four, and happening right there in your kind of home town of Indianapolis and all of that. And we go straight to Augusta, Georgia, a place I visited several times. It's one of the few places, Kev, I would tell you that it'd be worth it just to go if all you could do is get the practice rounds. You don't even need to be at the real tournament. You just need even the practice rounds. Just get on the grounds and look at it and take it all in. The prices are still what they were in like the 1960s, or close to it. All the, you get you a pimento cheese sandwich or egg salad sandwich or ham and cheese, whatever, for about $2 or $3. Get you a little soft drink for about $2. They've kept the prices at a minimum. And then, most places you try to get a cold beer, and you would pay a premium at a major or something like that. If you go to Cowboys game, you'd certainly be paying $14 or $15. I believe the highest you'll pay at the Masters is $6. All right, and so it's a fun place. It's a great tournament, and Champions Dinner, I believe, happens this very evening. Is it Wednesday night? I think it is. And so Rory McIlroy will host that. And so that'll be great. We do have Mitch Thompson on today. And we're checking, by the way, the Baylor baseball coach. And they've really been in a good way here lately. 5 out of the last 6. They won last night at UTA. And each minute, we're seeing more and more players go in the portal. Now, I'm looking particularly at these point guards. And even with some new rules that they're trying to put in with the NCAA, some of these guys still will play till they're 25 years old. This one guy from UAB. And why am I interested in UAB players, you might ask? Well, that's where our friend Yaxel Lindeborg came from, who became a star and the Big Ten Player of the Year at Michigan. And about 40 minutes ago, Chance Westry, 6'6" point guard, second team all AAC out of UAB. 23-year-old has 2 years of NCAA eligibility remaining. Okay, I'm not opposed to that. 5.3 assists per game. Averages close to 16 points per game. Got no problem with that. Kev, the sight of a big, tall point guard might remind you of the point guard for the Pacers, Mr. Halliburton. There's nothing wrong. Certainly, when the Mavs had Luka, it was a beautiful thing. Weird story there, Kevin, on that front. When the Lakers came through town, obviously Luka couldn't play. Reeves gets hurt. And then J.J. Redick, the Lakers accused the Mavs of not getting the X-ray right. The MRI scan, they said they scanned the wrong area of the body. He's got this is Austin Reeves. He's got a grade 2 oblique strain, I believe. but they're saying the Mavericks didn't even know where to line it up. But anyway, Kev, I'm right now because there's over 1,000 players in the portal. I'm very portal heavy today. I want you to be, I want you to feel very comfortable going to the portal. I will also tell you, Kevin, that this guy, Jonathan Giovanni.
You want me to go into the portal?
I want you to stay here.
You pushing me out? Okay.
No,
all right. Okay.
No, I'm doing the opposite of that, by the way. Givony, Giovanni, and he does a good job analyzing the NBA draft since 2003. Founder of @Draft Express, all right, has done a lot of work for ESPN, but he really has been on the forefront of this. And boy, yesterday, and he's doing it again today, Kev, he's had enough of some people who he believes are ripping him off, taking his stories and then kind of acting like they're breaking it, and he's accusing On Three of doing that. Joe Tipton. I always thought this Tipton did a pretty nice job, but now Giovanni is all over him. Man, I'm all for these guards, by the way, that are like 6'5". Here's a 6'5" Lithuanian from Pitt that just went in the portal. And then the guy I was telling you about is named Chance Westry. Now, the problem is, Kevin, what we do this time of year, especially like Baylor fans, like, okay, I'll take him. You can't have everybody. But this is really interesting to see everybody going into the portal. We had the news yesterday. James Najee. Boy, it was a lot to do about nothing. Remember that, Kev? It was like right before Christmas. It was almost like Baylor had just ruined Christmas for everybody. How dare the Bears, go and get this international player who had been drafted? How bad is this? They found a loophole. Kev, the guy ended up playing about 3 or 4 minutes of ball game. Didn't do much when he did. And the Crown never got off the bench. When there was some garbage time in the Crown, James Najee just sat right there. James, stay over there, buddy. We don't need to sacrifice whatever you're going to do. The Bears have moved on from the James Najee era. I don't think anybody, again, I'm sure he's a nice guy. No issue there. But Kev, the picture at some point today I went up on the screen, and you're really good at this, so you can do it quickly, but we can also save it some for Campus Confidential. Rob Wright III. Hello, Rob. Hello, old friend. Oh, my goodness. Rob Wright III, the old Baylor point guard, has gone in the portal from BYU. And you got people from BYU saying, well, could he be using this as leverage with BYU? No. This man breaks contracts. His dad kind of runs everything. And so we're sorry, Mormons. But basically, when you take another school's player and you talk him into breaking a contract, it could happen to you. All right? Couldn't happen to a nicer group of folks. They are nice, actually. But Rob Wright III has hit the portal. Now, you ask me, would the Bears ever think about bringing Rob Wright back? Oh, there it is. Oh, in his old Baylor uniform, no less. From Montverde Academy, from the great Montverde, there he sits, there he stands, our old friend Rob Wright. The answer is no, and H no. You don't want to go down that route. All right, you move on. You also move on from anybody that has Duke ties. Now, I'm just thinking about Jeremy Roach a couple of years ago. That did not work out. Now, the reason I say that, and I actually kind of like this player, but if some guy leaves Duke and Duke lets somebody get away, I would say you sometimes have to question what's going on. Now, the only problem here is, Kev, this guy intrigues me. It's Nick Kamenia. Started the year as a protected first-round pick on my draft board, Giovanni says, and fully expect him to be back there. He's going to drive winning next year with his combination of connective passing, toughness, skill, and improving shot making. Turned 19 in late December. Kevin, at the end of the meltdown against UConn, there was a youngster from Duke who was still shooting threes, taking the ball at the rim, getting offensive rebounds. It was this young man. It was a man we know as Nick Kamenia. So they say he will enter the transfer portal. 6'8" wing, was a top 15 recruit in the class of 2025 and a key rotation player this season, averaging 5.7 points in 20 minutes a game. We'll have a huge line of P5 suitors. Well, that sounds like to me he's going to get paid huge. I think Baylor's going to have several players in the portal, and I mean they can only spend so much on retention. I think they'd love to have Bodo play. Oh, look at Kev. Kev's now, he's found his rhythm. He's found his rhythm. And there he is. There is Kamenia. As I was telling you, Kev, 6'8" wing, top 15 recruit, class 2025. I like him. I do. I mean, I think I would way prefer him to but again, we didn't know that Jeremy Roach was going to be such a poor fit. I don't know if he was a poor fit. He just was a bad player or he didn't care or something. Bears have to find the right fits. Doesn't mean they all have to be from big schools. Doesn't mean they all have to be from tiny schools. I saw him looking at a player earlier today, Kev, from Wofford. All right, there's a young man out there, Kevin, that we need to get familiar with that is doing some good reporting. And obviously we know Grayson does for Siegmund 365, but he's certainly crediting these people. But there's one guy that keeps talking about, okay, Tobias Bass is somebody who comes up with some pretty good stuff. And then there's someone out there, Dylan Lutey, Lutey. These are good follows right now in the portal. All right. Grayson earlier today, Kev, said that Baylor had reached out to Wofford transfer Kamari Holmes. 6'3", average close to 20 points a game, 5.7 rebounds, 2.7 assists, and 2 steals. Now, do you have to be careful with a player from Wofford? Sure. But, Walter Clayton Jr. started at Hampton, I believe, before becoming a great player at Florida. I think he might have gone to St. John's after that. Some of these players have their humble beginnings. So we will keep an eye on all of these portal reports. Baylor has also reached out. Apparently they like that part of the country, like North Carolina and South Carolina. Furman transfer Alex Wilkins, 6'5", guard, posted about 18 points a game and 4.7 assists for Furman. Got no problem with it. Bears also have reached out to VCU guard Terrence Hill Jr., Atlantic 10, 6th man of the year, averaged 15 points and 2.8 assists while shooting 37% from 3 on 6 attempts per game. This according to Grayson. And again, this guy at Kaiser Hoops, Kayser Hoops, good guy to follow. He's had some interesting things, especially on the Baylor front. Let's see who he works for. High school and college basketball recruiting analyst for At League RDY. Kaiser Hoops, he calls himself. Baylor has also reached out to James Madison transfer Justin McBride. 6'8" forward, posted 15.3 points and 5.6 rebounds while shooting 40% from 3 this season. Love it. 6'8", James Madison. Kev, we brought that up yesterday. Kev, who came from James Madison? Who is it in our lives that we like that came from James Madison, sir? JMU, the Dukes.
Kurt Signetti.
Buddy, it's as good as it gets. And he came bearing gifts, didn't he? He came with about 20 of those players. It was something. Kevin, I continue to read stories of like what to make of the Big Ten dominance in the 3 sports. Their 3 straight national championships in football. And then, Kevin, even our conversation yesterday, and we may want to play a little bit more of that later in the week with Gary Patterson, the new defensive coordinator at USC. Kev, how about the nugget he dropped on us that 4 of the 5 projected starters for USC on offense on the O-line, way close to 400 pounds. You go, man, all offensive linemen are big. Okay. Really? 380, 385? This is uncommon. This is pretty wild what USC seems to be doing and trying to put together. We had a great visit with Coach. And then, Kev, I was going to make sure, let's remember that we have Mitch Thompson, Baylor baseball on the way. I was going to make sure that they see the link. Okay. Kevin sent it to them. Hopefully everything will be fine. And at about 1:30, we'll get Mitch on. I've been talking to my friend Levi Caraway, covers the team. Talked to Barfield, who is a broadcaster earlier today. Kev, because I just like to check in with people who are watching this team every night. I mean, that Baylor UTA, I saw some positive signs in that game. First of all, to get down 2-0, chip away, get a breakthrough inning, get a 3-spot, and then win that thing 5-2. You're not gonna kill it every night. You're not gonna hit a bunch of home runs. Some nights you need to watch the pitch, get on base, and then score some runs. All right, and that's what they did. And they gave up a 2-run shot early, first inning. The pitcher kind of settled down, and then I believe, Kev, our man's name is Berger. He's kind of coming on, man. He's kind of coming on for the Bears. One of those, the bullpen all bunch at the end. Berger, I'm trying to think of some of these guys I've known over the years that I saw on that list. I just liked what I was seeing from the bullpen last night. Berger probably being the best outing of all of them. But man, I am. Okay, good. They got the link, Kev. We're in the clear. So we'll take a break about 1:25 because you know how it is, Kev. These coaches and these great SIDs, sometimes they can be pretty quick to arrive. But I like that midweek performance coming off. This was a team that a couple of years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, Kevin, was winning like every Tuesday game. And this year it hasn't totally been the case. You got to find that happy medium. You can't just sell out. You'd like to win every game. Can't sell out to win every game. You got to rest players every once in a while. You got to figure out which pitchers can be out there for you in those Tuesday games, and you got to get several guys work. Stefan Stahl, to me, that's a question we got to ask. Love the guy, love the pitcher, love the lefty. I think was uncomfortable in a recent outing, and I kind of want to get to the bottom of that because, man, that's a lefty. That's a kid that's got some live arm. He's a good, crafty pitcher and somebody I kind of want to keep my eye on as we get ready to talk some Baylor baseball. Kevin, they're in the tournament as of now, in the projected NCAA tournament. I thought I saw them as a 3 seed in Atlanta. Very early to be discussing that, but that does kind of get me going. That would be a huge step for this program. Kevin, one thing I've been pouring over today that I thought you would like, they did a draft, kind of a mock of all the quarterbacks who could go in this draft. Kevin, I got great news. Who do you think they have going number 1 overall in this, only looking at when quarterbacks are going to get drafted? It is none other.
Only this year? I mean, I think everybody
draft
knows. I think everybody knows who that quarterback is going to be.
All right. Fernando Mendoza.
Ty Simpson.
He's got jokes. Kevin, they do have Ty Simpson going number 31 to the Cardinals. Projected trade with New England. Mm-hmm. All right.
Makes sense.
So that's 2 first-rounders. Round 3, number 99 pick, they have the Steelers taking Garrett Nussmeier.
Okay.
From out of LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Round 4, 130th pick overall from Penn State, Drew Aller.
Oh, okay.
Remember him?
I do.
As a Heisman type guy at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Round 5, pick number 152. Huh?
Got to be Klubnik here.
They got the Cowboys taking Carson Beck out of Miami.
Okay.
All right, it's kind of interesting. Round 5, number 160 pick overall, Talon Green out of Arkansas. You could kind of use him like they used to use Cordell. Yeah. Kind of like we call him Slash.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of move him all over the place.
Swiss Army knife.
Yes. Round 5, number 179, Jets take North Dakota State's Cole Payton. Cade Klubnik, round 6. Number 200 pick overall to the Carolina Panthers. So that makes sense. Right down the road from Columbia. From Clemson. Don't want to make that mistake. Round 6 to the Falcons, Luke Altmaier out of Illinois. Come on. Oh, they didn't take him. They didn't take our guy. Okay. Very angry. I still think somebody might take him. His intangibles are off the charts. He's such a great, great guy. And he put up unbelievable numbers. And, of course, I'm talking about the great Sawyer Robertson. All right, Kev. Mitch Thompson, Baylor Baseball, joins us next.
At Schmaltz Sandwich Shop, we don't just make sandwiches, we build them with fresh ingredients, bold flavors, and homemade baked bread every single day. Toasty on the outside, goodness on the inside. Schmaltz Sandwich Shop in Waco is locally owned and operated since 1975 with 2 locations in Waco, Town West off Valley Mills and downtown off 5th Street. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or just a craving, we got the perfect bite waiting for you. The Riesel Fair is back and bigger than ever. Bring the whole family for a day packed with fun, from thrilling rides, delicious food, local vendors, and live music Friday night. Saturday music begins at 2 p.m. Admission is $5 for adults, 2 to 12 years $3, 2 and under are free. Mark your calendar and join us for the Riesel Fair May 7th through 9th. The Riesel Fair, where memories are waiting just for you.
This This year, I made a New Year's resolution. I want every business to own a new copier from CTWP. Call me, Leroy the Copier Dog. Let's get you a copier delivered today. CTWP, your local copier company.
It's the Restore Clarity Focus Patch, my little secret weapon for staying sharp, focused, and on task. Each box comes with simple instructions inside, so you always know exactly how to apply it. Each patch lasts for 3 days. I love that I can wear it all day.
But boy, it looked effortless.
Man, watch this.
Layups, floaters, threes. He was like an unsolvable equation.
I was born like this.
His resilience, his strength, his belief, adversity never stood a chance.
Know your power.
Oh man, he's always right on time. I mean, I why would I ever doubt him? And I wouldn't. Let's see what glasses I want to put on for Mitch. I gotta show him the respect he deserves. I started to put on my prescription shades. And then he could slip on his Oakleys. It is time for Mitch Thompson on the new and improved Mosley Show, where we show people on the screen and we go inside Mitch's office there. Mitch, good to see you. And boy, if I'd have known you had such a great haircut and the hair was looking so good, I might have gone without the ball cap. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Good to see you. You doing okay?
I'm doing fine, and I'm loving what the Bears are doing here lately. You guys are in a good way, and I've been wanting to talk to you. And of course, you know me, jump on the bandwagon. You win 5 out of 6 in conference, and here comes Mosley. Hey, can I get Mitch? I need Mitch on. But it's a good run. You want to stay on that. But even last night was I think some good moments for y'all, because it's not like you hit a bunch of balls out of the yard, but you watched, you got on, you got some runs home, and you pitched. How nice was that to see? At one point you showed up and you were winning every Tuesday game. That was that one year where I think y'all were like something crazy, like 14-1 or something. It hasn't totally been the case this year. What did you like the most about what your team did against there in Arlington last night?
Yeah, I think the thing that you were talking about is the year that we won all the Tuesday games. It seems like we couldn't win any on the weekend. So I'll take the trade. No, I thought the last night's ball game was a decent ball game. It was one that I'm proud that we got the W, and we didn't swing the bat exceptionally well. They were running a different pitcher out there every inning, so it was a constant adjustment. They're constantly, when you set up your lineup, and they can then manipulate you every inning like that, it just makes it difficult. We didn't swing it well, but the thing that we did do is we pitched and we played defense, and that's something that I think we've been doing a nice job of, especially recently, getting good starting pitching. Our bullpen's been good, and then playing defense. And what you end up finding out is you're in every game when that happens, and I think that's kind of the case for last night.
You got a lot of good performances out of the bullpen. Your starter kind of settled down. What's kind of your bullpen may not? You had a dominant closer obviously last season. How how do you feel like your bullpen is coming together? And early in the season, you always, especially, by the way, you scheduled tougher than just about anybody. I think I saw recently, Mitch, where y'all had like maybe the 7th or 8th toughest strength of schedule in the country. So I guess in some ways, if you kind of survive early, and where it helps you is I've noticed you guys are projected to be in the tournament. I think you're a 3 seed right now. Do you feel like that kind of validates some of those choices? Hey, we're going to test these guys early, when you start to see that, hey, if we just win a few ball games, people are seemingly giving us some respect out there.
Yeah, no question. I mean, that's why you do it. You do it to prepare yourself for the conference play, and we did. We scheduled tough. It's no question. It's it's just part of the deal. When you do that and you do win some ball games, then you put yourself in a position where RPI is going to be pretty good at the end of the year, and so here we are, second week of April, whatever, and we're in it right now. So it's all about what's moving forward. I constantly am telling the guys that, if you're doing well on the field, you got to move forward. You can't sit there and bask in the glory of it. You just got to keep moving forward to the next thing. And if you're struggling along, you got to move forward. And so, yeah, we've kind of held our own and done fine to this point in time, and won 5 of our last 6 in conference, and great. That's all fantastic, but nobody cares anymore. It's about what happens this weekend, and so you just got to keep going forward. And so we've got a big test ahead of us on the road with Cincinnati this weekend.
What is it you talk to your guys about, like the approach at the plate? You started this season and you ran into some buzzsaw pitchers, and the strikeouts started to mount. Are you seeing here in conference, when you have a normal game where you're not getting another pitcher every inning, are you seeing a more mature, a better approach? Because you've got very young guys, you've got a few mature veterans. It's an interesting mix on this team. What are you seeing as far as, are the guys starting to believe more in the game plan and execute?
Yeah, and I think especially in our conference weekends, having played West Virginia and then Oklahoma State on the road, going on the road to Houston, and then having BYU here at home, we were prepared because of who we did play early, and seeing that type of pitching. We haven't always performed great. We've struggled striking out some, but the thing that we do is our at-bats have been pretty good, especially here lately. I mean, in conference play, they've been pretty doggone good. We seem to be able to execute the small ball game a little bit better, been moving runners, putting balls in play, and having different guys doing it up and down the lineup. There's no question we need our horses to be horses. We need them to run, man. And if this thing's going to go for us, we need Travis Sanders and Brady Janusek and Tice Armstrong to all roll. But if we're really going to be good offensively, we've got to get guys who have done it before, that have struggled along a little bit. Ty Johnson really shown signs here recently that he's coming along, that he's kind of getting back to doing things that he was doing, when he hit 300. We got to get Pearson Reebok back. We need Hunter Snow to take a step forward again. And so there's been guys really perform well, and then we've got some others that if we can tick them up just a little bit, I think we'll really take a step forward offensively.
Boy, you sure do recruit well at shortstop. I got to take my cap off to you. It's and you talked about the defense. I mean, this team has shown signs of being one of the better defensive teams in the conference. But then to go from this highlight, unbelievable shortstop, I mean, you had like Ozzie out there last year, to Travis, who, I mean, I don't know if he makes all those, but he's extremely capable, because I see some of the things he does. How nice is that to be so good up the middle? And that's not a bad way, is it, to start when you're looking for an identity with the program? If the identity can be, we're great at fielding, that's not a bad one to have.
No, if your identity is we're great at throwing strikes, we're great at locating multiple pitches for strikes, and we can play the heck out of defense, we're athletic, we can run, then that identity translates against anybody, anywhere, anytime. And we're going to be in the game. And that's kind of where we're at. It's been fun to watch Travis continue to take that step and to take the shortstop job. You're right. The last 2 years, we were really spoiled with Tyreek, because I really think Tyreek is maybe the second best one we've ever had here, or that I've seen here in the last 30 years. I mean, he's the only one. He's the only guy that reminded me of Beamer Weems, and oh man, it's an out, And then some of the highlight plays that he made last year previously to being drafted. But then to move Travis from second base back to his natural position at shortstop, and to watch him thrive. He's been really good at making the routine plays, but he's made some unbelievable special plays as well that you just don't see every day. And, we've had multiple coaches that we've played, especially guys early in the year, sometimes a 3-game series, and all those things come up to you at the end of the day and go, hey, man, your shortstop's the best guy we've seen. Wow, he could really play. So, that's always a good place to be good. If you're going to be good defensively, you better be good there. And thankfully we have the last several years.
How are you liking your outfield? You got Bo, you got out in center right now. Brady's out there in right field. And as you kind of get that thing set, is it you've worked with it a little bit, but how are you liking what you're seeing out there?
Yeah, we're just so much more athletic in the outfield this year than we have been in years past, with guys who can run, with guys who can throw, and are accurate with their arms. Not that we had good players, but I'm just saying, Bo Caraway's an elite runner. He's an elite runner. He's a 70 runner on an 80 scale by Pro Draft. Brady Janusek is a really good runner for a kid 6'4", 210 pounds. This guy is really, really an elite runner. And then Ty Johnson is a center fielder that just plays the heck out of it, and we've moved Ty over to left some now because it's a harder position to play than center field. And so we feel better leaving Bo in center field and let him just be athletic, and move Ty over there to left and play the hooks and the fades and the different things that you have to play there in left field. But it's worked out well here recently. The outfield is pretty dynamic athletic wise. They'll go get a lot of stuff. There's balls that we're making plays on that we haven't made plays on in the last several years, and that's a good thing.
Brady's on his way to being perhaps a freshman All-American. And interesting to just watch a guy. You had one a few years ago, and that makes me think, well, I mean, this is going to be a guy that people probably look and go, hey, we need to go try to get this guy from Baylor. Not to bring up a bad subject like that, but he's incredible. It's sort of uncommon to see, you call him, the horses, right? And you're already counting him as that. Did he walk on campus with sort of an air about him, or did he kind of have to was this a gradual, he needed to see the results a little bit, and then he's just taken to it quickly? What's that process been like?
I think he's a very confident kid. He knows he's a very good athlete. I think college baseball punches every freshman in the mouth right when they get off to the start, to be honest with you. And it's probably like that in every sport. You show up and all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, there's a lot of talent out here. And, the pitching that you see, I remember speaking to Brady before the start of the season, and he had said, we were talking, he said, I can't wait to get to those tournaments where we're going to play those really good teams. And I said, hey, hold on a minute. We're going to open up with New Mexico State, and it's going to be the best stinking group of pitchers you've ever faced in your life. And he looked at me kind of like that, and I just go, I'm just telling you, it's going to be the best arms you've ever faced in your life. And because it's that way, for a 19-year-old kid. I mean, and you're playing a bunch of 22s and 23-year-old guys. that's how that is. It's a step up, a huge step up. And Brady's a guy that never played just one sport. So this is a guy that, played football in the fall and loves to play basketball or whatever. And so yeah, there's been some growing along the way. He's learned a lot. He's a sponge. He's an open book. He wants to learn. Coach Blair, Coach Dillon have done fantastic jobs with him. And I think it's a testament to his hard work and his effort as to where he's at and the confidence that we have in him. But yeah, there's still room for improvement, and he knows it, and he's working on it every day, and we're really excited about his future.
All right, and those your Friday and Saturday, Calder's a guy we've gotten to know, and certainly has great story and very talented. But Lucas Davenport holding down Friday. How's your rotation kind of settled in, and how are you feeling about those guys as you are still fairly early in conference, but certainly putting some nice starts together now?
Well, the first weekend that we had 3 starting pitchers who were built up and could go a full 100 pitches, if they stayed in there and were performing well and could go 100 pitches, the first weekend we did that was University of Houston weekend 2 weeks ago. And, and before then we were trying to bring guys along. We had an injury here that we had to set a guy back, or we had to move somebody else in. You just can't take guys and go from pitching 30 pitches out of the bullpen to throwing 70 pitches in a game and keep them healthy. You're going to have to ramp them up at a slow pace, week to week. And so it took us several weeks, and we fought that through that when we're playing West Virginia, when we're playing Oklahoma State. And then we got to Houston, and it was the first weekend we had 3 pitchers built up. And all 3 went out there, and combined, I think they threw 17 of the 27 innings for us, which was huge. It was just a big time, 16 out of the 27 innings. But that was way better than the 10 or 11 innings that we were getting out of our starting pitchers previously. So, we've taken off some of the load off the bullpen. Lucas has been fantastic on Friday nights. He's a legit arm. Running up there 94, 95, touching 96. Good sweeper, slider, change up, throwing strikes, attacking hitters. Good metrics on all of his pitches. He's just continued to get better and better and better, and he's really stepped forward for us. I mean, for us to be 7-1 on Friday nights right now, knock on wood, let's go get number 8 this week in Cincinnati. That's an amazing progress that we've been able to make, because I don't know how many Friday night games we won our first 2 or 3 years here, but it wasn't very many. There was a whole lot more losses. And when you can win on Friday night, then you have an opportunity on Saturday and Sunday to win series. And so Lucas has gotten us off to a great start. And Zach Wallace has been pitching on Saturdays, and then Ethan Calder on Sundays. And it's worked well that, you have such a veteran in Calder on a Sunday. If you're going for a sweep, you got a great guy to go for the sweep with. If you're fighting for the series win, you got a great guy to go for that series win there on Sunday. And he's thrown the ball exceptionally well. I think 6 innings at U of H and 7 innings here against BYU. And, we just need those guys to continue to throw well. We got to take good care of them because they're such a big part of our success.
All right, I'm going to start calling you guys like the most dominant Friday team in the country. I think I can work with this. I don't
know if you need to throw that most dominant.
Talk it up.
Yeah, let's wait till the end of the year, man. If we're 13-1, we can talk about it. But right now, let's just keep going ahead.
It is interesting how that takes the edge off a little bit, and it happens at the major league level as well. You win the first one, and there's a little different. There's a little bit of confidence, all that kind of stuff going into the second one. And the other team, it puts a little more pressure on. I was going to ask you, Stefan Stahl, one of these recent games, I think he went out with some discomfort. Obviously, a very talented pitcher for you. Can you update us on kind of where
Yeah.
things stand with him.
Yeah, he's still being evaluated. We're, he won't be available here for the next week or so. And we're going to have to see. It's disappointing for him, for our team, for everything. We hate to see that, but Steph's still being evaluated, so there's no conclusive thing that I can really report other than, yeah, he had to walk off the mound last time out, and that wasn't.
Got it. Hey, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about these ABS? I was at the opening day of Rangers. Didn't really come in too much there. There's a guy for the Yankees that I think's up there trying to question strikes every at bat. Jazz Chisholm, I think he's just – and they started literally 12 for 13. So something the Yankees are doing. They've got a pretty good little system. Do you like – does it add anything to you? I mean, you're a fan as well as have been in the game for a long time. I would say watching it on TV, the home crowd, like I was watching a Dodgers game or Seattle game, and the Seattle home crowd, when they won a challenge, I was like, whoa, this is kind of adding a little element to the game that I didn't quite realize the fans would be so on top of. What do you see, and would you welcome more of this in the college game?
Yeah, I haven't even gotten a chance to hardly watch a major league game yet. But I will say this: I think that when you add that ABS system to it, or we add our TrackMan system to it in college baseball, which now virtually every umpire in every game across the country is being evaluated on his strike zone with what TrackMan tells you where the pitch was, and you'll see that those guys are pretty good. I mean, those umpires are pretty stinking good. What you also see is, like you say, a Jazz Chisholm or somebody like that, for your example, those hitters have an unbelievable strike zone awareness. Unbelievable. And it's probably what makes them big league hitters, to be honest with you. They know the difference between a ball and a strike. And, So you're talking about stuff that's moving 95 to 100 miles an hour, and is it this far off the plate or what? So I think anything you can use like that, as long as it doesn't take away from the speed of the game and keeping the game going. We're working so hard in all of baseball now with the pitch clock, and we've got to hurry up and do this. Then let's just don't screw it up. With slowing it down and doing a whole lot. It looks like the ABS things moves along pretty quickly. It's a couple seconds, it's up on the scoreboard, there it is, boom, done. So we'll see how that keeps evolving. But I like the human element, but I also like it to be right. So there's been times, there's been a time or two this year, this season, where with our TrackMan system, the strike zone is marked out in a box, and then there's a little buffer zone around that strike zone. Okay, so those are the pitches that are kind of on the very fringe. Could be a strike, could not be a strike. And there's been a time or two this year where, excuse me, our opponent got like 16 of those pitches called strikes, and we got 6 in that buffer zone, and so you go, well, did that make a difference in the game? Yeah, those 16 pitches probably changed a lot of at-bats, from maybe an up count situation to a pitcher's count situation, from a 1-1 count, and you get that buffer zone pitch and you turn it into a 1-2 count as opposed to being a 2-1 count. And so I don't think it'll probably be long, and it'll be with us in college baseball too. If this is something that they can do quickly, I would hope that college baseball will evolve and add to it as well. You just got to keep it moving forward.
What do you do with that information? Does the conference get all that TrackMan? And
yes, they do.
Okay.
Yeah, and the umpires can see their report at the end of the day. Excuse me, I got a cold. The supervisor who assigns the umpires gets that. The guy who assigns guys for postseason play. They find out who is very consistent with the zone and who expands the zone. So it's a much better system of evaluating umpires and probably getting our better umpires for postseason play than it used to be.
All right. By the way, that U of H reliever that was so unbelievable in the past, it was kind of nice not to have to encounter somebody like that, wasn't it? I mean,
yeah, it'll be a while before I forget Antoine Jean. So yeah,
I got to look him up, see where he ended up. You probably know,
well,
but
he'll be in the big leagues here soon. Don't worry, you'll know.
All right. Well, hey, Mitch, I appreciate it. Love catching up with you, and man, continued success. By the way, Cincinnati. Do you? By the way, I'm a Luden's cough drop guy. I still, although I
apologize.
I eat it for candy. No. You're fine. I'm sympathetic to the cough because when I have one, yeah, it gets after you. But yes, I have a lot of different things that I use. But now, going into Cincinnati, they're 4-8, struggling a little bit out of the gate, but I'm sure they have a full complement of very talented players and that type of thing. What's the biggest thing to know about that team?
They're a really good club. I mean, they're in top 25 right now in the RPI in the country. They've played a good schedule. Pardon me. They're a team that loves to run, can really bunt. They have the nation's leading home run hitter on their team. They have a great big physical arm that goes on Friday night, 95, 96 mile an hour guy, Nathan Taylor. Cincinnati, was rolling along, getting nationally ranked. They played Kansas at home for a weekend series, and Kansas ended up winning 2 out of 3 against them in a very hotly contested series. And then last weekend, Cincinnati went to Oklahoma State, and just really is probably not a real good matchup for Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's heavily their batting order is heavily left-handed. Cincinnati is a virtually almost all exclusively right-handed pitching staff. So Oklahoma State was able to score a bunch of runs against them. And also, Cincinnati's a right-handed group of hitters, and Oklahoma State had the right-handed pitching to kind of match up. It just kind of was not a good matchup for them, I don't think. I think they're a really good team. They're really well coached. Played an NCAA regional championship game last year at the University of Tennessee. They will run. They will bunt. They're aggressive. They'll be chanting stuff out of their dugout. They're into it. I've never been and played at the University of Cincinnati before, so I have no knowledge of the field, how it plays. But they've got guys in that lineup that can scare you. Catcher that was a preseason All-American type guy. Like I said, the leading home run hitter in the country, and the Coates kid at first base. He's already got over 20. So, there's some scary there for sure. I'm not paying much attention to that 4-8 start. I'll just tell you that. I think they're really good. And I think for us to go in there, we're going to have to play really well to beat them. And that's kind of how it is in our league this year. If you play well, you have a chance. If you don't play well, you're getting beat. That's just how it is.
All right. Well, maybe you let the kids have some Skyline chili, although I don't know if that's the greatest suggestion I've ever made, but yeah, very, very famous place.
Yeah, I might eat some Skyline chili. I'm not sure that'll be the thing for them.
Your nutritionist, your team nutritionist might not back me up on that. Mitch, have a great one. Have a great trip, and look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks for doing this.
Appreciate the time, Matt. Sick 'em, guys.
There he goes. Mitch Thompson on the Mosley Show, and that really is, it's an interesting team. And there are some really good parts of it, and they're going to kind of need some more things to come together. They've had some setbacks along the way, but I think that was good. I think that was a good, Kev, I'm doing my thing again. All right, here we go. I just think they need to kind of get, get all those pitchers ramped up, like you said. And that's kind of amazing because that's just the 2 series. That's, the Houston series, they swept them a couple of weekends ago. And that was the first time, Davenport and Calder and some of the others were ramped up. But that's pretty good when you can go however many games he just said and get like 17 of the 27 innings from your starters in this day of college baseball, where you turn it over to your relievers so quickly. I think that's an excellent deal. Appreciative of Mitch's time. Now, Kev, we are going to do some Campus Confidential, and man, it's a heavy portal day. College basketball. They're going in the portal, and they're coming in from everywhere. They're coming from Kansas. They're coming from BYU. They're coming from Furman. They're coming from the small schools, the big schools. They're all leaving. And I feel bad for the mid-majors. They got some really talented young folks and not enough money to retain these kids. And that is how the University of Texas ends up with a kid like Vokiitis. That's how somebody's about to have Devin Vanterpool, really good young guard from FAU. It is harder than ever. In fact, I think you'll see fewer top young assistants take those mid-major jobs because it's so dang hard to get them and keep them at that level. You're almost better trying to get yourself to a point where like for instance, the McCaslin entry point doesn't really exist anymore. Even the Dusty May to a certain extent, because all this stuff wasn't really happening when he went to FAU. Some of these coaches, it's all changing, and I think it'll be fascinating to watch and see how all this works out. Let's do some Campus Confidential. Let's do it next.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. When it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. But with the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. Don't buy from social media ads unless the ad is from a verified company. When you click those ads, you open yourself up to fraud. If it seems too good to be true, it almost always is.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
The all-new 2026 Jeep Cherokee is back, roomier, smarter, and ready for city streets, the highway, and the road less traveled. Advanced safety tech, available 4x4 confidence, and premium comfort, and an amazing 37 MPG built for weekdays and weekend getaways. And meet the all-new 2026 Dodge Charger, now in 2-door and 4-door. Legendary muscle with modern performance, next-gen tech, and unforgettable style. If you've been waiting for something new, this is it. Visit Allen Samuels Dodge in Waco. Come by, let's be friends.
Lake Waco Golf Club is a semi-private facility nestled along the north point of Lake Waco, one of the few facilities in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course as well as an executive 18-hole par 3 golf course. Plus, check out their bar and grill, which is open to the public. And if you're not a golfer, then enjoy time by the pool or even enjoy fishing around Lake Waco. Become a member today and call to book your tee time. Lake Waco Golf Club, where family and friends fun begins. Check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Welcome to Kit Bag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, for true football passion, think Kit Bag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's KITBAG.com. Kit Bag.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
We offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at bizchair.com to transform your business.
Circulon C1 Series Clad with Scratch Defense Non-Stick. Maximize cooking, minimize cleaning. Discover the unmatched durability and elegance scratch-free, worry-free, forever.
At Tusane's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Visit Tusanes.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
It is the Mosley Show, and I was just sitting here watching Joey McGuire on that interview he did with Bussin' the Boys. I'm sure you're familiar with that one, Kevin, and dang it, he didn't mention Baylor. They wanted to know the new emerging rivalries that Texas Tech has. But I guess Baylor doesn't count because they've played each other forever, so we'll give him that. But I think he's saying that BYU and Arizona State are emerging as their best rivals at Texas Tech. So I love that, Kev. You go all the way to Lubbock, and they were having that nice visit, and then they get the Twitter questions coming in, and so they decided to start using all those, and some of them are pretty good questions. So not bad. And that's why I consult sometimes, Kev, with Levi Caraway and Barfield and, the experts who see the Bears every night or see the Bears every game before I interview Mitch, and leads usually to getting some better information. I would say that unfortunately, that did not. Okay, I just got an interesting invitation to do something really fun with somebody from the Bears. I'm telling you, man, this with Doug McNamee and then Brent Ingram, Kevin, the kind of the head SID over there. He's the baseball program administrator. They are really trying to do some cool things. And so anyway, I was just kind of notified about something that sounds like a lot of fun. What I was saying about Mitch is, Kev, that Stefan Stahl is such a talented pitcher for them. He's a lefty. I think really he gets people's attention across the country. I think the people who follow college baseball closely know about Stefan Stahl. And unfortunately, the other night, I believe that was Friday, when he walked off the field, it was not good. It just did not. And so he said they're still evaluating and looking at that. But I got to say, Kevin, there was something in Mitch's voice that told me that did not feel like great news. And so I hate that. But the Bears have a lot of pitchers, and they'll have to kind of keep going, and we'll see where this ends up. But great to have Mitch. Mitch is looking even more distinguished. I don't know what it is. Something about the haircut or the glasses. Just had a very distinguished look about himself as he sat there in the corner office there overlooking the field. I couldn't really tell what was back there, but I assume maybe he can look out and see the field from where he is. Where is the baseball office? I'm sure it's over there. He's not. I don't think I've been invited in, Kevin. That's shocking. CNB, Central National Bank. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you to Patient Direct. Thank you, Schmaltz's. All right, we'll do our Schmaltz's trivia question. Thank you, Cherry Johnson. Siegmund James, one of the great law firms in Central Texas. In fact, Scott James just named the top 100 lawyers in the country. And man, they get some huge verdicts over there. That's personal injury. That is big time lawyer. And that happens right over there at Cherry Johnson, Siegmund James. We're happy to have them. We're happy to have them. And even as we speak, Kev, our friend Stephanie and Tom are out there bringing more people to the table. And we're very appreciative of that. Although, Kev, are we certain Tom's not bringing them to his show? Do you think he's out there leading with the Mosley Show? I'm kidding. He could lead with whatever he wants to. All right, Kev, let's do some Campus Confidential, please.
All right. So this is it bridges a gap, we'll say. What are your thoughts on Fernando Mendoza being the first player since 2021 to the first round, first overall pick to not attend the NFL draft?
I think in the whole scheme of life, I'm sure ESPN doesn't love it because you pay huge money for the draft and all these games and to have the package and the thought is that the number one guy, you would like to have him on site, and that first pick you announce, you want the guy to walk up there. Is he the first one to ever not go? I don't think so. I mean, I'm talking
the last one overall. Last one, like I mentioned, 2021. Okay.
Oh, 2021. So that's Myles Garrett was already in the league.
Yep. A while.
Was it a quarterback?
Yep.
Wait, that you got to go back further for Baker. Yep. So 2021, right after the Kyler's too old to be that person. 2021. Oh, tell me.
Okay.
I said, go ahead and tell me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't maybe as presumptuous as this pick. It was Trevor Lawrence. Of course, that was Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Penei Sewell, Patrick Surtain, Devontae Smith, Justin Fields, and Micah Parsons, all within the first 12 picks, and Mac Jones just after that. So there was a packed draft, we will say. This one, not so much.
I would say of the guys you just mentioned, packed in as far as those offensive players. Now, I think this is still packed with great talent up there, but I know what you're saying. Interesting.
Meaning, like, there could have been a lot of people at number one. This isn't it wouldn't have been as presumptuous as this, where
I got you.
Who's going number one. And because Zach Wilson was right there at the time.
It's hard to believe. Although Trevor seemingly was the guy most of the time. Because he was just that kind of unbelievable from the time he was like a freshman at Clemson. He had everything. He had the size, he had the hair, he had the whole shebang. I don't begrudge him, and I just think he does. It's obvious he loves being with his family and all of that. What I would not want is for any of these players to sort of elect not to do it, and then later regret it. Like, that would have been fun. Oh, dang, I wish I'd have done that. And I don't think he will. But from a viewing standpoint, it is fun to see him in the green room and to see him walk out there in Pittsburgh. It's going to be a massive crowd downtown. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so, is it going to ruin my draft? No. Is it a little disappointing? Yeah, a little bit. So but I'm not, not mad.
This is not me trying to create drama. I'm just curious. Do you think it had anything to do with the Kirk Cousins deal?
Oh, I do not. I think the way Mendoza's wired is just kind of like those guys will like become best friends, and I don't think there's going to be really any anger. And as we saw with Mahomes and we've seen with Rodgers and others, I know it's been a while, but you can really benefit from. And again, if he gets there and it's just so obvious that he's way ahead of even Cousins in terms of athleticism and everything else, then you rip off the Band-Aid and get him out there. But for once, I kind of feel like the Raiders are trying to do something somewhat smart. Like, there's enough pressure with being the number 1 overall pick, and then you get thrown onto a bad roster and a bad team. Yes, their roster's getting better.
They have done some incredible things.
Yeah, but it's mostly they added a ton to their defense. I would not say that like Oakland did anything kind of like Seattle and the Patriots. Like, they don't have enough pieces to go from 2 or 3 wins to 10 wins. I don't see it, no matter who's playing quarterback. Okay, yeah. So I'm a little bit sad, but that's okay.
All right. So, what position transitioning to basketball is most important or should be the priority for Baylor in the portal?
Guard. And I know people are always like, I got a big man, need a front court, and need more depth. Well, that's all true. I mean, let's remember they had Bodo was going to be their starting center. Caden Powell was going to be his backup. Then you would have had like 6'10 or 6'11, 6'9, 6'10, whatever Caden Powell is. And, you would have had 2 big dudes. And let's not forget that they actually have a couple of other bigs that are coming up and that they might be able to retain. I joked about this the other day with somebody, Kev. It's like when Baylor was really struggling, what did I try to do with Scott? I tried to kind of get him to talk about like thinking the Baylor people might like to hear about some of these redshirt players. And Scott couldn't even really talk about them because what if you start talking, oh my gosh, Mayo, Soso, or whatever, or Iguodala, they've been incredible in practice. Well, some team's going to hear that and go, maybe we can get them. Maybe we can swoop in there and get them, pay them a bunch of money. So Scott couldn't even really feel comfortable bragging on his own players. And I will say, Kev, and boy, when I said this a few weeks ago, it really generated a lot of excitement, about what Baylor might be trying to do staff-wise. All I will tell you is that there's going to be additions, going to be changes. And I think it'll be exciting. And if I had to guess, Kev, I would expect Baylor's sort of approach would be more like Grant McCaslin's at Texas Tech. I mean, I like, again, let me tell you something about Texas Tech, for instance, in their portal approach and Michigan's. I said this the other day, Kevin, I don't know if I really drove home the point. Michigan has an associate head coach that's also kind of their GM. So he's coaching, and then he's the huge talent evaluator portal dude. All right? That's one way to do it. Seems pretty good to me since they just won a national title.
You have the on the court directly relating to the off the court behind
Correct.
the scenes.
Correct.
All in the same brain.
Now, let me tell you about Tech. Just a separate GM. He's out there gathering, kind of like how Tech does it in football with the old Baylor guy, James Blanchard. He's out there, he's bringing them guys, and then Grant, who's heavily involved, but McCaslin and them have a policy. If there's a red flag, even a tiny red flag, character issue, out. The thought is there's enough money and there's enough good players out there to find, and they also love the hungry kid, right? Now, I'm not saying they don't end up paying them money. JT Toppin was not playing for free out there, right? They didn't get him from University of New Mexico for nothing. But boy, did he deliver. Did he not give them 2 years of just being awesome? That's what you got. I mean, and again, that's not easy. It's not easy. Most times you don't get the lead dog straight from a mid-major. In that case, they did with JT Toppin. You generally want to get your lead dog from a bit of a higher place where he's proved himself some. Like Walter Clayton Jr. was at a small place. Then he got to a better place. Then he ends up at Florida. They don't win that national title without Walter Clayton Jr. So I guess what I'm saying is, Kev, your mid-major kids can become studs, but you don't want to skip them up the ladder too quickly. Like that.
Tell that to Yaxel Lindeborg.
Yeah, but
I don't disagree. I'm just saying.
I know, but
for every rule there is an exception.
Well, that's why I brought up JT Toppin.
Yeah.
Lindeborg was tremendous at UAB. But now what I'm saying is is it a mid-major? It is. But it's a much higher rung than where he came from before that. He's out there like JUCO begging for looks.
Yeah.
And then he gets to UAB and he starts climbing the ladder and then he becomes a monster. Now, there's another way you can do it. Michigan does it. And Baylor may do it in the Big 12. I don't know how much you got to pay these guys. I mean, quite a bit, I'm sure. But you look over and you go, well, I mean, why is Cronin not playing that 7-2 dude? Looks pretty good to me. He's 7'2", catches the ball, could block shots. What's Mick doing? And so Dusty and his group, his associate head coach is a good, I wish I could remember his name. He's good. They just go, we want one of him. The rest is history. You say, does Michigan win a national title without Lindeborg? Probably not. Does he win one without Mara? Probably not. Although, how many times do we see in this tournament, especially with Lindeborg that one time, where they lost him and they still extended the lead? You got to build these teams. That's another thing Baylor's going to have to do. You can't get – Scott almost jokingly a couple of years ago said something like, we almost need to recruit like we're going to have a couple of catastrophic injuries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the hard part is, if a kid's getting offered a bunch of money here and there and everywhere, it's hard for me to figure out how Illinois, like how in the world do they ever get the young Stojakovic to buy into coming off the bench? How does Michigan tell a kid like Trey McKinney, who I'm sure, I don't have it in front of me, but I'm sure he's a top 50 kid. He's probably a top 20 kid. That's a hard thing to tell a kid at that level that has that kind of pedigree.
Yeah.
We're going to bring you off the bench. So you either have to do some great convincing or you got to pay them a lot of money, but you don't want to pay a ton of money to bench guys. It's hard to put a team together. It really is. It really is. I think that guy's going to be good. By the way, we got to watch out for our new Cincinnati guy, that Jared Calhoun. Watch out for the mid-major guys because they've been bringing them in. They've had guys stealing their players. Now they get to go to a place where they get to steal the players. They already know where they all are. And then they have the money to go get premium players. That reminds me, by the way, speaking of Cincinnati, Jizzle James did go in the portal. He shot it over 40% from three. I didn't think he had a great year for Cincinnati. He started the last 20 games of the season. I thought he was on his way to being a great player. He never totally took off. Could he run a team for you? Yeah, probably so. I don't think he's totally what Scott Drew wants, but he's a electric player, much like his old pops, the great Edgerrin James, who I'm sure at some point you either thought about or owned an Edgerrin James jersey at some point in your past.
Running backs are a tough jersey because you want it to last. I was more of a Bob Sanders jersey guy, which also didn't last.
Number 20?
The 21.
21. Okay.
Yep. So
was on the Super Bowl team, wasn't he?
Yeah. He made a huge difference. Their defense really suffered that late in the season without him. He came back just for the playoffs.
You're right.
Boom.
I remember it well.
Hit the defense hit just like he did, so it worked out well. So Kyle Church is the guy from Michigan you were thinking of, assistant coach GM. So
he's good, man. He's good. Thank you. Yeah, he is. He's very impressive, and somebody's going to let him run a program soon. You wonder how. I think another Michigan guy got the head coaching job somewhere. Am I right? I'm trying to think if I'm right about this one. Whoever took over at NC State came from one of those great staffs, and his name is Justin Gainey. Did that guy come from Michigan? I think he may have. Anyway, he came from one of those really good staffs. All right, Kev, what else do you have?
Here's the question. I know you alluded to this earlier, but if you say that Baylor needs guard help, and they probably need a point guard, is it time to please just bury the hatchet and let Rob right back?
Not in a million years. Even if some fans thought that would be a good idea. I mean, he left them hanging. He left them high and dry. Scott is such a nice, forgiving person that after that BYU game, I saw Scott. He grabbed Rob and actually said, was very kind to him. But he left Baylor in a big lurch. And quite honestly, at BYU, while he had some great games, including against Baylor, when Saunders got hurt and they needed him to have an even bigger role on the team and maybe score more, couldn't do it. Did not really. And I would, if you looked at like individual defensive metrics, I would argue that he's one of the worst in the country. He is a turnstile. He is the human turnstile. So Bears need to get back to what they built themselves on, 2020, 21, 22. And you asked me that question earlier. What do you need? What do they need? This guy to get back to being guard you. All right. Isaac was a good start. Get him for a couple of years. And people who think that, they got Isaac, they got the point guard, go get another couple of guards. This place needs to be swimming in guards. All right. And I'm talking about guards that are interchangeable and guards that can run the team if need be. All right. Rob put them in a bad position, and then they made bad decisions on top of it. All right. They got a so-called point forward, a 6'8" wing. I don't know what he was. I mean, someday somebody will ask me what Michael Ratai was, and I'll only be able to say bad. He just wasn't good. Sometimes you hate to put it all on the player because for Wayne Sprinkle or Tinkle, Wayne Tinkle is his real name. The Oregon State coach averaged 17 or 18 points a game. So what was he, just against inferior competition? I don't know, maybe. But it's hard to know why a Lindeborg could average 17 or 18 for UAB and be great at the next level. And why was Ratai averaging about the same thing and was horrible at the next level? These are the questions you wonder about. There was a kid from Oregon State that played with Ratai, and he's a European kid. And he went to Oklahoma State. And I watched him earlier this year. And while I'm not saying he was great, he was a big old monster 6'9", 6'10" kid who would fight you all day, had decent hands and decent touch around the rim. And I just can't help but think, how did Baylor think like Ratai was maybe better than this guy? You know why? Probably because Ratai seemed kind of versatile. And one thing Baylor does, which they're not alone, they will fall in love with kids who they project to be able to hit threes. I don't know if Ratai was great at Oregon State hitting threes, but he could hit them. Baylor believes in their development, which I don't even know if exists anymore, development in college basketball. But like, for instance, when they got the kid from West Virginia a few years ago, Jalen Bridges, he was a kind of a okay three-point shooter at West Virginia. Comes to Baylor, gets a little bit better. His second year at Baylor, he pops and he shot it. They got it up there. And I always heard like Coach Nunes had a huge hand in that. Just worked with him like crazy. And they got him up there to about a 42% three-point shooter. All right. It happens. It happened. Jalen Bridges, I believe was his name. Whatever happened to Bridges? Anybody know out there? All right, Kev, what else do we have, sir?
Well, I have some more, but we need to take a break. Do you want to do more on the other side or save it? All right.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We'll do some more. We'll update you on some big stories out there. And we'll do a little bit of breaking news. We'll do all that next.
At Schmaltz Sandwich Shop, we don't just make sandwiches, we build them with fresh ingredients, bold flavors, and homemade baked bread every single day. Toasty on the outside, goodness on the inside. Schmaltz Sandwich Shop in Waco is locally owned and operated since 1975 with 2 locations in Waco, Town West off Valley Mills and downtown off 5th Street. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or just a craving, we got the perfect bite waiting for you.
This year, I made a New Year's resolution. I want every business to own a new copier from CTWP. Call me, Leroy the Copier Dog. Let's get you a copier delivered today. CTWP, your local copier company.
The Riesel Fair is back and bigger than ever. Bring the whole family for a day packed with fun, from thrilling rides, delicious food, local vendors, and live music Friday night. Saturday music begins at 2 p.m. Admission is $5 for adults, 2 to 12 years $3, 2 and under are free. Mark your calendar and join us for the Riesel Fair May 7th through 9th. The Riesel Fair, where memories are waiting just for you.
Everybody at Equalife really has a passion and a real interest in helping people feel well. How much further can we go to get you feeling even better? It is a complete partnership between the two of us.
What if you could clean clean? With bio-based formulas and deep cleaning enzymes. No dyes, phthalates, or mystery ingredients. Just powerful pods for your dishes and laundry. Now you can, with drops. Made clean, made to clean.
It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now. and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
I am obsessed with helping business owners increase their traffic and turn it into profit through the power of Pinterest marketing. It's this amazing platform where people are looking for ideas, inspiration. They have a problem and they're actively looking for a solution.
It's hard to find supplements that work. No, thank you. Plant-based supplements made from the Earth's most powerful plants for your immune health, gut health, workouts, and more. Find out more at auraorganic.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
All right, Mosley. We're back at it. And, Kev, we were doing some Campus Confidential. We can continue down that path. I did want to tell you real quick something I didn't mention earlier. Flory Badunga, the great Kansas big man, we talked about him yesterday going in the portal. Jeff Goodman earlier today. He's 6'9", 13.3 pounds, points, 9 boards, and 2.6 blocks. Like, I'd love to have him at Baylor. He's going to cost way too much. You don't want to do that. I honestly think Badunga would probably be able to get somewhere in the $3 to $5 million range per year. On a 1-year deal, I absolutely think somebody'd give him $4 million. The Baylor's not going to do that. As of now, his list is Duke. Kevin, stop. Let me know if you've heard of any of these schools. Duke, Michigan, St. John's, and Louisville. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know any of those schools. It's very unfamiliar to me.
It's kind of news to you. About an hour ago, Kev, Grayson said Baylor is in the mix for multiple top 20 ranked transfers as the portal starts to heat up. All right. I don't want to get carried away, but that makes me at least a little bit excited. How about that? Somebody earlier today, Kevin, let's say some happy news. Yeah. The best national champion since 2010. Somebody put a list together. This person who does this seems to be fairly kind toward Baylor, and Baylor people tend to gravitate toward those people in the media. The best national champion since 2010. He's got Baylor 2021, UConn 2024, Kentucky 2012, Villanova 2018, and Michigan 2026. That's the order he has them in. I love it. I would tell you, because Baylor ran into that team in the Elite Eight in 2012, I would tell you that I would not have a problem with somebody putting Kentucky, that 2012 Kentucky team, number one. That's Anthony Davis's team, and yeah, there were some players that didn't end up being like great in the pros, but it was just so stacked. I think Kid Gilchrist, what's his name, was on that team. Michael Carter Williams or something. I don't even know. I'm throwing out weird names now. It was an unbelievable roster. And Anthony Davis was one of the greatest college players of all time. And he only played, obviously, the 1 year at Kentucky. That was a scary team. Like, Baylor was really good. And they just had no business going up against that Kentucky team. I was out there for the Sweet 16 in Atlanta that year, I believe, 2012. Kentucky was there, and oh my goodness. Baylor had an interesting team because I think that might have been like Perry Jones, who might have come back for a second year, or did he come out after his freshman year? That was an interesting team because they had lots of talent on that team. and they had some pretty. Baylor had this long. When I say they need to surround Scott with guards, it's because all of their best teams were just flooded with guards. You know, before Royce O'Neal was Royce O'Neal, he was a 6'5", 6'6" transfer guard who came in from Denver when you couldn't pay players. Denver University, I think it was. And he just added to this really, that may have been the Canadian, Brady Heslett, that may have been around that time. They used to just have, Kenny Cherry was a guy that comes to mind that helped them get to a Sweet 16. I think they played that one out in Anaheim, that Sweet 16, and might have gotten beat in that first Sweet 16 game. But Cherry was a great, great point guard. Just a small, he wasn't that big, but he knew how to run the team, and he could hit clutch. And the ultimate one from a clutch leadership stud, I mean, obviously Jared and Davion and all those guys and Maceo, who won a national title. But the first one that blew everybody out of the water in all those areas I just mentioned was Tweety Carter. Now, Tweety's one of the coaches for the Bears. And so they have a constant note of somebody to compare. And I still think Tweety is on his way to being an amazing coach. It already is in a lot of respects. All right, Kev, I had that Badunga note to share, and then I wanted to see real quick before I turn it back over to you, because, boy, I like that quarterback mock draft, except that they didn't have oh, great. Here's a headline we didn't need today, Kev. This is the most Bryson DeChambeau headline ever, okay, as we get ready for the Masters to start tomorrow. Bryson DeChambeau. Here's the headline. Using 3D printer-made iron at Masters. Oh, my gosh. Really? All right. I mean, always something. And, again, that's fine. We had some retirements in the NFL. We had today at Augusta National, which I can't get enough of the Masters. I've been. It's an incredible thing. And today Fred Ridley, the kind of the chairman at Augusta National, said Wednesday that the club supports governing bodies' efforts to reduce elite driving distance, which he says are needed to protect golf's integrity. This is known as a rollback, and it's getting to the point where it costs too much money to lengthen these courses, and you don't have enough room. So the only thought is you either have to take a look at the equipment, and that means doing something to the golf ball or doing something to the drivers, because, again, it's getting to the point where it's so bombs away that some of these courses, even the hard ones, are being made almost obsolete. All right. And so that is an interesting nugget to come out of Augusta today. Kev, on the NFL front, I did want to bring up to you, the Texans have exercised the 2027 fifth-year options for quarterback C.J. Stroud and all-pro defensive end Will Anderson. Stroud will make nearly $26 million, and Anderson will receive $21.5 million in 2027. The salary.
So Stroud makes like $1 million per turnover. Then good job.
Oh man, rough.
One of those players is worth it. The other one is questionable.
One of them is just a precursor to get the long-term deal under, and that's Will Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
The third-year defensive end had 12 sacks, 20 tackles for loss, and anchored the number 2 ranked scoring and total defense in 2025. He's greatness. And then don't they have a guy, Kev, on the other side who's awesome too?
They just paid Daniil too. Yep.
Daniil Hunter.
That's correct.
Who ends up making a ton in free agency.
Yeah.
I think Anderson's a better player. How old
He's got longer to
Hunter?
flush it out.
31?
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Daniil Hunter? Okay. Good player. Great player. All right, Kev, back to you in the studio. I know you had a couple more you wanted to bounce off of me as we do kind of extended run college. And we'll continue to bring to you everything we're hearing from the portal. Every once in a while, Kevin, I take a peek back at Jonathan Giovanni because he's got good stuff, and he has not put one out in 2 hours. Now I'm almost afraid, Kevin, to look at that Tipton because they're in a fight. He's accusing On3 of ripping his stuff off. It's not nice, is it? Oh, wow. All right. This is 2 hours ago. Texas Tech guard Jalen Petty plans to enter the portal with a do not contact tag. The 6'1 freshman averaged 10 points, about 4 rebounds, and 2.2 assists per game this season, shooting 37.5% from three. Now, Baylor and their former assistants sort of have an understood agreement that they don't take each other's players. So I do not see Baylor, unless Grant said to Scott, we love this player, but we needed to do some other things, and I could not recommend this guy enough. If I heard that from Grant McCaslin, then I would think about making a move for Jalen Petty. But Jalen Petty is out there in the portal world, Kev. We've had silence over the last 2 hours. This is very crazy. That Duke forward I told you about earlier today, Kev, Nicholas Kamenia is entering the portal. 6'8" freshman. You know, I'll tell you the kind of player he is. If I'm is that him?
We're ready.
Who did that?
I did.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Kamenia in a Baylor uniform. I think he screams fighting Illini. Doesn't that seem like somebody Brad would be trying to go after?
Right.
Yeah. All right. What else do you have for me, sir?
Well, you're dancing all around it. So who are some of the players that you've heard that Baylor is interested in that you think would be a good fit? You've kind of mentioned some of them along the way. We got Alex Wilkins from Furman, Justin McBride from JMU, Kamara Holmes from Wofford, and KJ Lewis from Georgetown, and Terrence Hill from VCU. VCU probably being the most, prominent school, was in the tournament, knocked off North Carolina, got Hubert Davis fired, so.
A few years ago when they got that player, and he and Ray J are both in the G League now, the guard Jaden Nunn. Kev, they got him from VCU. I like history with players. They also, Ray J was a really good hit at point guard. Ray J Dennis from Toledo. There's certain conferences I kind of like in this. I do not mind the American Athletic Conference. I don't mind the Atlantic 10. And I do not mind at all the what you'd call the new Pac-12 or the Mountain West. I really don't, even though the Bears got somebody from out there at Oregon State that did not work out. I like this player you just showed me right here. Terrence, what'd you say, Terrence?
Terrence.
You said
Hill.
Terrence
Hill.
Hill.
Yep.
I do remember watching him play in the tournament. I like speed, athleticism, a guy that can knock down the three, a scorer. I like him. I got no problem with the kid from Wofford. I just think as you form this, you got to remember Baylor had their eyes on Elliot Cadeau from UNC last year, and they had a really good shot at getting him, but they decided to invest in Rob Wright III. And I think, as we've found, that's not always great. Like BYU, he wasn't bad for them, but I don't think he was $3 million good for them. If you said Baylor could have Rob Wright III back right now, if I said that to Scott, and all you'd have to pay him is $500,000. Okay, so you get Rob back on campus, run the team. He had that 1 year with the Bears. I think from a character standpoint, and just and again, Rob's not a bad guy. It's just honestly the people around him, his dad's, and it's not the first, stage parent kind of thing. But I think Scott would pass, even on that reduced of a deal, even if they put him on discount. I think Scott would say, we've been down this path. We're not going back. We're not going back to Rob. I think what we're going to see the end of, a little bit sadly, people are like, oh, good, no one and dones. Well, I don't know. I mean, Baylor had a run of like one of the great runs in college basketball history in recent years with one and dones. I mean, Calipari used to do it. The Bears have done it now for going back to Keontae. I mean, they just did it boom, 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 like year after year. So I don't agree with the strategy where like that's bad. Did Michigan have any one and dones in winning the championship this year? The answer is only if somebody fell in love with Trey McKinney and he looks like an NBA player and he can flat out shoot it. But I think he'll be back at Michigan. I don't guess that Michigan had a one and done on this team, right?
I don't believe so.
Who else was in the Final Four? Is Illinois going to have a one and done? Yes. The answer is yes. Yep. Wagler is going to be one and done. Did Duke have a one and done?
Duke wasn't in the Final Four.
Excuse me. I'm just sitting there thinking about them.
I know. Boozer is out.
Duke, yeah, so it doesn't matter. Cam Boozer, they weren't in it.
UConn.
Did UConn have a one and done on this year's team?
Only if Mullins finds that, he is wanted somewhere, but I don't know if it's the wise move in this draft class.
I hope he stays. The problem for a guy like Mullins, it's great for him. The issue is like he showed that athleticism. He's obviously not Cooper Flagg, but he has some traits. He may already be, he's probably he's on his way to being, I'm just talking about when Cooper was at Duke, and Braylon's at UConn. I'm comparing it in those areas. Mm-hmm. Braylon's borderline a better shooter than Cooper. Now, all the other stuff, getting places, shot creating, no, he's not in Cooper. But the problem is he's sort of built a little bit like Cooper. He's not quite as long, not quite as tall as Cooper, but I'm just saying, if you don't think somebody could fall in love with Braylon Mullins in the build-up to this draft, you're crazy. Now,
I think for him, it's kind of, you got to strike while the iron's hot, and you don't know if it's going to be this hot next year.
I would bet on myself that because the thing he's got going at UConn is that they're going to reload. They're going to put great players around him, and they got Solo and Demery and some of those really great guards coming back. I think they can say, hey, we'll build around you and you can be a star here. I mean, there's no reason in the world why he can't average 15 to 17 points a game next year. He was already starting for them.
Yeah.
Like, why can't he be the new Caravan? Caravan was awesome. Don't get me wrong. It's almost unfair to Braylon to say that. Caravan's one of the great college players of the last 5-10 years. But he could be that for UConn. I think you got to stay. Let's keep doing what we're doing, but give me the landing, sir.
Yep.
Give me the site. Oh, there it is.
I have one more for you. And,
can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Real quick. The 15th, I believe, is when John Morris and Mosley will all be on site at the Brazos Landing. A beautiful spot. Come out. Last time, I don't come on till 1. There was really a nice little crowd in there. And I assume they came out to see J-Mo. No, J-Mo and Mosley, of course. But no, we're very appreciative of that. And we love the Brazos Landing. And we land here every single day. Thank you, Schmaltz's, by the way. Thank you to the great Schmaltz's. We'll do our trivia on Friday. Kev, what else did you have? What did you want to finish with?
Yes, one more for you, and this is Michael Mullen talking about his daughter. He was asked about his daughter at his introductory press conference with North Carolina, so I wanted to get your thoughts.
Wait. Michael Malone. Michael Malone.
So, yes, yep. Michael Malone, introductory. Of course, his daughter plays volleyball for UNC. So this was him talking about what that conversation was like.
Conversation like with your daughter when you told her that you were taking this job? What was her reaction?
No, that's finally a good question. So this process went on for Steve maybe around 10 days. And she had called up. She goes, hey, I'm hearing that your name's being mentioned. Do you have any interest? And I said, I don't think so. And she was, you should do it. You should come. That'd be great. I just think she wanted, to be near her mother a little bit more. And then when it got serious, and I mean this part, sincerely, it's not easy being, my daughter. She was always known as, Coach Malone's daughter, Michael Malone's daughter. No, she's Bridget Malone. And when she came here, she had her own place, her own space to be her. And, so proud of her because this is a tremendous basketball tradition we keep talking about. But what I should also mention, as we all know, it's a tremendous school. And that was one of the reasons she chose to come here, because she's a student athlete and the academics. And so she has crushed it since she's been here. And I asked her, I said, listen, I don't want to come in here and kind of crash your party. You have your thing going on right now, and I don't want this to be something that's going to take away from your spotlight. And then I also told her, I said, listen, you can't hang at Bob's late night. You got to make sure you're getting out of the bars and handling yourself appropriately. And that's from me and Coach Shaw. Yeah. So, we have to make sure that you're living in a fishbowl. But the best part about it, to answer your question finally, is my daughter Bridget. She said, Dad, I want you to come. So I did.
Nice. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, I always thought that was a funny thing that people were bringing up. Like that's why they would bring in Michael Malone, is because his daughter plays volleyball there. But now that it's happened, it's a very neat, and that's very cool the way he phrased that. And it's true. I mean, she went somewhere Not that they don't understand that her dad's a famous NBA coach. I'm sure after volleyball games and maybe when she first came there, they asked her about it. I mean, they're very familiar with it. But then having your dad be the head basketball coach at one of the biggest blue bloods of all, if not the biggest, is probably kind of a tricky thing. But you can't help but sit there and look at that footage. I'm glad you showed that, Kev, because she just seemed like she had a tremendous amount of pride. And that was kind of a neat moment. And I think she how many opportunities could you ever have to have something like that? You're playing college volleyball and your dad comes to take over the men's basketball program at UNC. It's kind of wild. I can't help but think, Kevin, it just popped into my head how much more wholesome this story is than the Belichick mess, you know? On the football end of things, it's all about Belichick dating someone 50 years younger than he is. And on the basketball side, it's about a dad.
We are talking about two groups of people in the same age range.
I mean, Jordan is 20. I think she may have reached 25. I think maybe she's turned 25 now, I bet. Because I just remember in my mind, it was always, she's 24 years old. She's 24 years old. So now that she's 25, it's very normal for her to date a 75-year-old head coach at UNC. They got to
make it through it.
I know they got to fire him. I just don't understand. Like, how could you even let yourself do one more season like that? What a joke. What an absolute joke. All right, Kev, we're going to be out tomorrow. Duty calls on a family front, and then we will get rolling again on Friday at 1:00. And we appreciate everybody for understanding. Appreciate Kevin for all his hard work this week. We will see you Friday at 1:00.
Central National Bank, this is Nikki. How may I help you?
Yes, can you please transfer me to the loan department?
You want to transfer?
Yes, please.
I'm sorry, you can't transfer right now.
What?
Have a good day. Yes, how may I help you?
Hi, I would like to transfer money from my C&B account to another bank.
Absolutely not. No. Have a great day.
Wait, hold.
I'm on your website and I'm trying to find the link for your payment portal.
The portal is currently unavailable. Have a great day.
We've received a few complaints.
Correct. We no longer allow any outgoing transfers, only incoming.
But the good news is, no money is leaving the bank. Like, none.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.